everybody, it's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm here today to guide you through a great lower body focused mind-body connection. So we're going to bring some big stretches to your ankles, to your quads, to your hamstrings, things that might be a little tight just from sitting at a desk all day, but especially if you are living somewhere where it's nice outside and you're getting to take advantage of getting those steps in, you might be feeling a little tired in your legs. So we're gonna work on that together today. We got 3 minutes till we get started. Make sure you have some space for yourself, put some water on, put some quiet music on if that's gonna help you feel relaxed. I'm gonna give you a heads up that there is some for real construction happening outside. It is what it is. We're just gonna do our best to phase it out, focus on the stretching, focus on your breath. Just allow the rhythmic sounds of construction work to be the little drum beat that keeps your practice going. If you have a strap, I would recommend, oopsie jiggles, I would recommend grabbing a strap today. If you don't have a strap, you can always just get a towel or a large cord or just anything that you would be able to step on. So we're going to use the strap to step on to help us get a little bit deeper into some hamstring stretches. So just have that nearby. We will get started together in 2 minutes. If you're here early, amazing. Thanks for coming. Feel free to do whatever feels right for you. We'll start down on our mats today. But either enjoy a little savasana, a little relaxation away from your desk, okay, or find the stretches that feel right for your body right now. Well, welcome everyone. Let's come on to our mat space. Take your time, make your way down to the floor. Just start to notice how your body is feeling today. Start to just be aware of your breath. Come on into tabletop, and we'll start here in tabletop, just giving ourselves a couple little cat-cows. So keeping your arms nice and straight, allowing a big arching of that back. Belly might even come a little towards your thighs. You can press the tops of the knees into the floor and really feel the glutes spread. Try not to sink into those shoulders too much, keeping those arms straight. Maybe your elbow creases even start to gently shine forward towards the top of the mat. When you're ready, go ahead, change from cat. Keep those same active arms though. Keep those knees actively pressed down into the mat, top of the feet on the floor. Just think about finding some rhythmic breathing, rhythmic movement, and start to take some little turns of your head. Looking over one shoulder and then the other, just starting to bring a nice little stretch to the next. We're going to find a gentle warm up of our hands here. So keeping your hands on the floor underneath of your chest. Go ahead, send your hips back towards your heels. Just taking a little bit of pressure off of the wrist, flexing. So we're just going to go back and forth here about 5 times. Coming back up into tabletop and actively bringing shoulders away from your ears as you find yourself back in tabletop. Get one more in this direction, and then we're gonna change the way that we have our hands on the floor. So as you pull yourself back up into tabletop, your belly is gently engaged, lower belly is drawn in to find some support. We're just gonna turn our hands over. You might need to bring your hands a lot closer to your knees, especially if your wrists are really feeling tired. So with the back of your hands on the floor, go ahead, same thing, exhale, work to bring your glutes towards your heels, and then sit yourself back up. So really applying some pressure through the back of the hand up to the wrist area. Big stretch happening. Right here, how's it feel? How's it feel for you today? What's happening with your shoulders? Did they turn back into earrings? If so, can you create a little bit more space? Do one more just like this. And then we will sit down, put our glutes on the floor. You can lift your hands up, shake them out for just a moment. Oh my God, I thought someone was trying to get into my apartment just now. It was really a little scary. All right, so making some circles with your wrists. Just shake it out. Maybe make some fists, open and close the fists. Just making sure the blood is flowing into those extremities. Maybe you can make some weird little sounds with your hand, whatever entertains you. Let's go ahead, put our hands back on the floor. This time, with your fingers pointing towards the outside of the mat, we're just gonna shift the weight gently from side to side. Still just getting some big warm-ups in our wrists. I know that we don't use our wrists a lot while we're walking around outside, but maybe you've been texting a lot, or maybe your desk situation isn't the most ergonomic and you're just not feeling 100%. It's okay. Welcome to the club. Okay, this time we're going to turn our hands towards the inside, so still palms facing down towards the floor, but fingers turned towards each other. You can feel this nice stretch going a little bit more up the forearm. What are they doing outside, you say? Well, they're repairing the street. They're building a tennis court. I don't know. They're digging a hole. Maybe it'll go all the way to China. It sounds delicious. I could use an adventure. All right, next up, once again, lift yourself off your hands. Shake those hands out. Let's start to come into some big stretches, starting all the way down at our ankles. So first up, we're gonna do some heel anchoring. So you're gonna bring either of your feet forward. I'm gonna bring the other foot forward so you can, I'm not blocking myself with my body. You might need to turn your back toe in. So instead of having your toe towards the back of the mat, turning your toe to the same side that you have your foot forward for a little bit more balance and stability. All right, so we're getting a little bit of a stretch into that hip flexor, into the quad, but what I really want you to focus on is pressing your heel down to the floor, keeping the ball of the foot and the pinky toe ground with the mat as well, but don't roll towards the inside so that you're flattening your arch out. If you can still have a little bit of a visible arch, if that's a thing for you. Awesome, and we're just gonna take a minimum of 5, maybe 10 just rocks back and forth right here while keeping that heel on the floor. So your range of motion is going to be limited by your flexibility. You can bring yourself back as far as you want to, but we're really just focusing on keeping this heel on the floor so you don't have to worry about bringing your heels all the way back to your glutes. Just focus on that grounding through the heel. Ooh, nice stretch in that quad as we move forward. Some of these moves are going to be very noticeable elsewhere in the legs. All right, let's get 2 more forward and backward right here. And then take your time. You might want to turn your toe of your grounded back foot back towards the wall behind you. Switch it up in tabletop if you want to cat-cow it out. If you want to shake your cat's tail or your cow's tail. Let me see you shake a tail. All right, and then let's go ahead and bring that other foot forward. So really working to start with that knee on top of the ankle. Make sure that you're not rolling towards the outside of the foot or towards the inside, so there's still a bit of a visible arch. Really pressing and grounding your heel into the floor once again. Just gonna shift forward and backward. A minimum of 5 times. If you want to move a little bit slower, you are welcome to move at the pace that feels right for you. Let's get our last two in right over here. So just a little forward and back. Really try to stay ground in your foot. Awesome. Take your time. Once again, bring that leg back. Find yourself in tabletop. We're going to bring our legs together, heels close to each other, and come sit yourself up into kneeling. So we've done this one before. We're going to find a big ankle stretch next. Think about it as either lifting your shin or lifting your knee up. So I'm just going to turn backwards for a sec. It is okay while you're here if your toes come together and your heels gently fall out. If it's too challenging for you to have the tops of your feet flat on the floor and your feet truly side by side. Do not turn your feet out so that the arches of your feet come towards the floor and your toes point out. That's a little too much stress through those lower legs. So rather to create a little beautiful bowl with your feet if you need to for your seat. All right, so from here, you can have your hands on the floor if you want. We're just gonna lift one knee up and then the other. Having your hands on the floor as you lift that shin is gonna take a little bit of the pressure off. If you wanna work a little bit harder, lift yourself up. Oof, really press the tops of your feet into the floor as you alternate lifting up one knee and then the other to get that shin off of the mat as much as you can. And as you can see, it's a lot easier for me on one side than it is on the other. I'm sure many of you feel the same way, especially if you've had any sprained ankles. If you're a big time runner or biker, we tend to get a lot of scar tissue and whatnot in the ankles, and this is just helping us to break that down a little bit. Let's go one more on each side. Okay, if you want to lift yourself up for a second, tap those toes out, maybe even bring your hands to the floor to take off all the pressure. Great, next up we're gonna go for a little bit of a duck or a ninja walk, and we're going to include that amazing shin lift that we just did in our duck or ninja walk. So coming into a position a little bit more similar to our heel anchors, a little heel anchor kneeling if possible. So staying low to the ground here, with that back knee down, we're gonna find that shin lift, and then staying low, we're just gonna switch it out. So, bringing that opposite leg forward, untucking the back toe, sitting the weight a little more towards your heels, finding that big shin lift, and then one more time, just walking up that length of the mat. Sit yourself down slowly. Find that ankle stretch, and let's go ahead, turn around. We'll just walk the length one more time. Hopefully you're starting with that opposite leg, so we're getting about 3 on each side and staying really low. Try not to use your hands in this little ninja walk, sitting yourself back down, lifting that shin up. Untuck your toe. Lower it down, lift it up one more time. Yay, awesome. Come on back to kneeling. Grab a block or a towel, or you can even use your strap for this next one. So if you're gonna use the strap, since I think I forgot to tell you to grab a block or towel, you can roll your strap up. Let's make it into a nice little circle. We're gonna get some plantar flexion. So a nice stretch onto the top of the feet. So bring that prop that you have behind you. Place the top of your foot on the prop, and then just work to sit yourself back a little bit. Obviously, the higher the prop that you're using, the more of the stretch that you're going to get towards the front of your ankle. We're hanging out here for about 20 seconds. I'm just gonna switch it up and use this block that I have over here so you can see what that would look like with the block as well. Feel free to just shimmy those shoulders a little bit. Really use your inhale to notice if you feel that stretch throughout your ankle. I'm gonna check the computer screen in a sec. Sorry if y'all lost the feed. I still see it on my phone, but I don't see it on Facebook right this second. All right, let's go ahead and switch it up. Get that other top of the ankle. So press the top of your foot down onto your block. Still live. And just come back into your breath. Okay, we're still going. Things are still good. All right. Yay! So you don't have the whole foot on the block, it's just closer to where your ankle turns into toes. And just depending on how tight your ankles are, one side might feel really attainable and achievable, and the other side might be a very uncomfortable, noticeable stretch. And that's okay. Do the best that you can with the body you have today. Come back to your breath. Take 2 more right here. You're doing awesome. Yay! We're gonna stand up for this next one. So take your time, come up to a standing position. You can use a block, you can use a wall, you can use a couch, whatever you've got. We're gonna find a little bit of dorsiflexion in the opposite direction. So with your heel down on the floor. This is a beautiful calf stretch as well. Just hanging out here in our breath once again for about 20 seconds. So cute. All right, let's switch to the opposite side. So I'm actually leaning a little bit of weight forward into that lifted foot. The more that I actually lean my body forward, the more I start to feel the stretch into the calf as well, which is tight. Tight. All right, go ahead, remove yourself from your block. Go ahead and shake it out just a little bit. All right, next up we're gonna take a nice wide-legged forward fold. I'm gonna turn sideways though, just so you can see what I'm going to do with my upper body. Encourage you to have your strap nearby, and you might even want to, before we get started, just lay your strap down on the floor so that you are stepping on it, and there's lots of space on the side for where you'll be able to pick up that strap. All right, so before we do any sort of forward fold, take a moment, look down at your feet, and make sure that your heels are in line behind your toes, or you can always turn your toes in slightly towards each other. However, if you know that you're having any issues with pain or discomfort from the sciatic nerve or your piriformis, don't find this inward rotation of the feet, because that's going to increase those sharp pains, and just keep your heels invisible behind your toes. Excellent work. Ground those feet firmly through the floor, but make sure you're not collapsing into the arch of your foot again. Draw your belly in. Let's inhale those arms all the way up overhead. And then exhale, relax your arms down by your side. 2 more times just like that, finding a little bit of length, eyes forward. Inhale, arms up overhead. Little squeeze of your glutes, your hips are forward. Exhale, relax your arms down by your side. Last time. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, arms down. And then bring your arms out to the side. So palms in line with your shoulders, belly pulled in tight. We're gonna hinge forward at the hips and come on down towards the floor. And you get to bring your hands as far in front of you as feels right for your body today. So we're just gonna get a little deeper into the hamstring stretch than you might have been able to get from a standing forward fold. And as always, you can take a little generous bend of your knees if you need to from here. Excellent. Checking my notes so we don't miss anything. So with your legs nice and wide, we're gonna walk our hands forward. So maybe your heels gently lift up off of the floor, and then you're gonna walk your hands back. So just hang out here for a couple times, walking yourself forward. You can even shift the weight forward to come into like a modified
down dog, and then once again, walk it back. Walk it back in as far as feels good for you. I'm gonna tuck my shirt in like a winner. Great. Walking it forward. Shift that weight just a little bit, walking it back to bring the stretch back into your hamstrings. All right, last 2 times, walking it forward and back. Final one, let's stay out here this time. So with those hands, maybe they're underneath of your shoulders or maybe they're a little bit further away. Either is totally okay. We're gonna press all the way up onto the balls of the feet. Lift those heels really high and then exhale, release your heels down towards the floor. So maybe as you exhale, your belly even comes closer towards your thighs as more of a modified down dog, and then inhale, lift it up. Find that little shift forward of weight, and exhale, bring it back down. Keep going. Getting some good crunching and cracking in my ankles over here. As you release those heels down towards the floor, can you really press into your hands, palms, and find the biggest stretch that feels right in your hamstrings today? I'm gonna give you one more opportunity right here. Awesome, walk those hands back in. And we're slowly, gently gonna lift ourselves up. If you need to, you can take a generous bend of your knees and slowly roll yourself up, 1 vertebrae at a time. Inhale your arms up, palms together. Go ahead, bring your hands down to heart center. Let's just take a moment here in a wide-legged mountain pose. Amazing. All right, staying here with our legs nice and wide, continuing to get these big stretches into our hamstrings. Next, we're gonna get some standing crunches. So it's up to you where you would like to put your hands for these standing crunches. You can either keep it really easy on yourself and have your hands on your side to help you focus on really keeping that core in. As you hinge forward, come down with that nice flat back, and then stand yourself back up with control, or you can work a little bit harder to bring your hands by your head, but don't apply any pressure from your fingers onto the back of your neck. And if you brought your hands up overhead, make sure that you didn't find any extra arching through your back. So finding that nice neutral spine here, maybe a little tucking of that pelvis under. I'm gonna keep my hands at my hips, relax shoulders away from ears, so I'm not tempted to press onto the back of my head. We're gonna take 5 standing crunches where we just exhale to come down to about a half lift, and inhale, lift yourself back up. Don't worry, we're gonna get all the way down there. Make sure you're still breathing. If it feels better for you to inhale as you come down and exhale as you lift up. Just don't hold your breath. We got 2 more. Keep those eyes forward in front of you, shoulders pulled away from ears. The more that you are hinging forward, the more you're gonna feel that stretch on the back of your legs. Awesome, take a moment, inhale, step your feet together, bring your arms up overhead, relax your arms down by your side. Just take a couple little kicks forward. I know those legs are starting to feel a little tired there. All right, next we're gonna use that strap that I had you stand on. We're gonna use the strap to help us find a little extra pull down towards the floor. So open those feet nice and wide. You might even need to open your feet a little bit wider than you had before. Let's bend our knees and come on down. Take a quick little malasana stretch. So shifting the weight into your heels, send those hips back behind you, drop one shoulder down and forward as the opposite shoulder draws back, and then switch, other side. Oh, that feels good. That feels so good. We're gonna do 1 more each side. Getting a nice stretch in those glutes right now too. Awesome, reach your hands down and grab hold of your strap. You might not have to use the strap. If it's easy for you to grab hold of your feet, you're welcome to also hold onto your feet. And from here, we're gonna bend our elbows and pull our heads a little closer towards the floor. and then lift ourselves back up. So if you're feeling really tight, you can be right here with your strap, bending your elbows to just bring that chest a little closer towards your knees. I want you to do your best to take that rounding out. So no rounding of the back, still a nice flat back. Pull yourself down, stretching through the crown of your head, and then lift yourself back up. Big stretches on the back of the legs, I know. Don't worry, you're doing awesome. Move as slowly as you need to. We got 3 more. The closer you pull that head down, the more you're really going to feel it all through the back of the legs. Last one. Okay, release your hands to the floor, and if you need to, you can always shift that weight forward just like we started, to be a little bit more in a very high leg and arm tabletop, and walk yourself over to the left. Maybe you can even grab hold of your left or right foot, whichever direction you walked yourself in. I'm just going to take a couple breaths here. Can you relax your head a little closer towards your knee? Might even feel good to gently turn the foot out that you come towards. Find a little extra twist through your hips. Notice if your shoulders are drawn all the way up towards your ears. Work to use your breath to relax, to find a little extra length in your spine. All right, go ahead, walk yourself back towards the center. Turn that foot back in if you went for that twist. Take your time, walk to the other side. If it feels good, you can turn on your heel to twist a little bit extra, but just coming to the depth that feels right for you. Find that relaxation in your head. Nose comes a little closer towards the knee. Still pressing into your heels and actively lifting those hips up instead of sending them towards the back of the room. So doing your best to stay stacked in the most beautiful line that you could be. Let's take our time once more. Bring that toe forward, walk all the way over to the opposite side. Maybe you can even use your breath. You can pull on the strap if it's here to bring your head a little bit closer and further away. One more on this side, and then we'll gently walk over to the opposite side. Option to take that little pull and twist. Great, go ahead, walk those hands out further. Bring a little bit more weight into the balls of your feet. Maybe your heels even lift up, and we're just gonna give ourselves a cat-cow right here. So press into your hands, palms. It's okay if your heels lift up off of the floor, and then look forward the best that you can with your eyes. Spread those glutes towards the back of the room. Maybe even give them a nice little shake. Twerk it out. Awesome, back to your cat. Back to your cow. All right, last little stretch we're gonna do here. You're gonna turn your hands towards the back of the room. So fingers point towards the back of the room and start to walk your hands back. We're just gonna relax our heads towards the floor. You can get a little bit deeper here if you take a big bend in your knees. So coming into a modified squat, walk those hands back. Maybe your fingers barely move back any further. And with those fingers on the floor, then lift those hips up. Head comes down towards the floor. You can see if you can walk your hands back even further. Once you can't reach anymore, take that bend in your knees again. Try and walk back once more. Hands still down on the floor. Lift those hips up. Relax your head down. Take those extra wrinkles out of your neck. And then change. Take your time. Slowly, gently draw it back forward. Bring your hands back down under your shoulders. We're going to come onto our knees. We're going to shift onto our glutes and extend our legs out in front of us. Ugh. Oh. Huh. We made it. We made it back to the floor. And here we are in caterpillar. Or one more more stretch in the back of the legs happening here as we're in a forward fold, but from a seated position. So take a moment, walk those glutes back as much as you need to. Might even need to use your hands to actually move things out of the way to find this little hinge forward from the hips to bring your belly towards your thighs. All right, let's just take a couple breaths right here in caterpillar. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Find as flat of a back as you can here. So really work to press your belly towards your thighs. Think about hooking your lower ribs over your hips, and then take your time, lift yourself back up. Let's start with that right leg. Fold your right leg in, so the sole of the right foot is touching the left thigh bicep, and then turn back towards the left foot. So your hips are the best that you can, square towards your front leg, and we're once again going to find a nice little forward fold right here. Use your right hand on the floor to actively draw that right shoulder forward to keep your chest squared with your left leg. Big stretch throughout the back side of the upper body. Change, lift yourself up, keep that right leg folded in. We're going to bring the left leg back and come into deer pose. See if you can work to relax that left glute back down towards the floor. Your left foot can either continue to be in two 90-degree angles just like your right, or you can fold that left foot all the way in. Because we're going to fold it in just a second. As we switch things up, we're going to extend that right leg out. So keeping your left leg folded into a big runner stretch. And you can have this right leg back as much as feels good for you, or you can keep your two thighs close towards each other. I'm going to use my hands on the floor to help me find that length in my spine and take the crunching out of the lower back. Also because things are a little uneven with my delightfully meaty legs. All right, go ahead, extend your left leg forward. Once again, we find ourselves in caterpillar, so you can walk one glute out at a time. Find this nice little forward fold. All right, this time lift yourself up and fold that left leg in so the sole of the left foot is touching the right thigh bicep, and then turn towards your right leg. You can bring those hands down towards the floor and think about bringing the opposite shoulder of the leg that's extended forward to square your chest with that leg. Take your time, walk it back in, lift yourself up, keep your left leg bent. Bring your right leg into deer pose now. So this time you do get to press the arch of that foot toward the floor. First time we've gotten a stretch in this direction for our feet today. Ooh, work to relax that right glute down to the mat as much as possible. Find that length through the crown of your head, open chest and back. Now I do recommend turning this right foot in so that you don't have the arch of the foot on the floor anymore. That arch of the foot comes closer towards the glute as you extend your left leg out in front of you. You can bring it all the way in. You might even need to push your calf muscle out of the way to find a little bigger stretch. That made a big difference, just taking a moment to move that calf muscle meat. Find this big lift. If you don't feel anything, you can always take another little forward fold. Great work. We're gonna fold both legs in. Come back up into tabletop. Press into your hands, palms, send your hips up towards the ceiling. Take a moment here in down dog. You can open your feet really wide. Press into your hands, palms to bring that belly closer towards your thighs. We got pigeon coming up next. One more big stretch into open our hips as well. So inhale your right leg up towards the ceiling. Keep that left foot planted on the floor. Try not to open up towards the side, so keep your hips squared to the floor. Keep your chest squared to the mat. There's a big temptation when you lift that leg to turn your chest in the same direction of the leg. And then we're going to draw that right leg forward. Knee comes close towards the elbow. We're going to bring it down to the floor and come into pigeon. I did that so ungracefully. It happens. All right, so the more that your shin of your right leg is parallel with the top of your mat, the more challenging this pigeon is going to be. But you can have your toes stretched all the way back towards your hip. Don't go towards the glute of your front leg. Then you're going to miss out on the whole hip opener. So keeping this glute in the air, think about your back leg hip coming a little closer towards the mat. You can stay lifted. You can relax yourself down towards the floor. You should feel a big stretch through your front leg, quad, glute. Let's take 3 more breaths right here. Great. If you lowered yourself all the way down towards the mat, lift yourself back up, tuck your back toes under. Press yourself up, start to find that plank, and then we find ourselves in down dog. Once again, you can shift the weight side to side, pedal your heels, find any stretch that feels right for you that your body needs now, and then keep that right foot planted as you extend your left leg up towards the ceiling. Try not to open up to the left side of the body. Draw your left knee forward, up towards your nose, plant that leg on the floor, and then wiggle your right leg back. Oh, this feels so good as we come into pigeon on the opposite side. And remember, both sides of the body are not the same, so whatever you did on the opposite side, doesn't matter what depth you get onto on this side, as long as you just do your best. Make sure you're not bringing that front leg's glute to the floor. It should be floating in the air. Feel a nice little stretch through it as you're bringing the opposite hip closer to the mat. You can release yourself all the way down. Slow down your breath. Find some length through your spine. Last breath here. Beautiful. Press and lift yourself up. This time we are going to come onto that back glute. All right. Let's get a nice little spine twist in. So extend your legs in front of you again. Let's be cool and lay down. Be cool. Be super cool. That's what I think. Okay. 10 minutes. 10 amazing minutes. So lay yourself down on the mat. Take a moment and allow your knees to draw up towards your chest. But don't draw your knees up towards your chest so much that your low back and sacrum lift off of the mat. So maybe your knees are pressing against your belly, and maybe they aren't. As long as that lower back is pressed down to the floor, that's all that matters. We'll take a nice stretch of our quad before we get into that spine twist. So take your left hand and put it on top of your right shin, and then reach through with your right hand to grab hold of your left foot. It's okay if you can't actually grab hold of your left foot. Whether or not you can or can't, you're going to bring the sole of the left foot close towards your glute and allow that left knee to come down towards the floor. The more that you are able to stretch through the knee, through the outside of the leg to bring the outside of the knee towards the mat, the more you're going to feel the stretch in the quad that is on the floor and the top of the thigh. Still keep that lower back down on the mat. Take 2 more breaths right here. on your exhale, gently change. Try not to fling yourself out of the stretch. Once again, bringing those knees in towards your chest. Maybe give yourself a little rock side to side, a little free massage for your lower back. You're welcome. Free massage before the holidays. Passover starts this weekend. Huzzah! And I believe Easter is the following weekend. All right, let's get this quad stretch on the opposite side. So this time, right hand comes on top of the left shin. And your left hand reaches under the right leg to see if you can grab hold of your foot. Bringing the sole of the foot or the heel close to your glute. You relax your leg down towards the floor. And the more you really, can press the outside of your thigh towards the mat, the more you're going to feel that stretch in your quad. So if your knee is still pointing pretty far up towards the ceiling, you might not feel the stretch as much, and that's okay. Just hang out here with your breath, see what your body can do, and be thankful for whatever it is. Keep those shoulders relaxed on the mat. Get as much of the back of your head and your neck flat. Just breathe it out right here. Take your time, use that exhale to once again draw both knees in towards your chest. Give yourself another free massage. Free. It's my favorite price. All right, go ahead, release your feet to the floor. Extend your left leg. Open your arms out to the side. Oh, yeah. And then let's gently draw the right foot over the left side of the body. You can even use your left hand if you need to apply a little extra pressure, to feel a little extra stretch through the glute and not just the spine. Something as simple as just placing a hand on the outside of the knee really brings the spine stretch throughout the right leg as well. Relax into your breath. We'll take 3 more breaths right here. Use your exhale to gently roll onto your back again. Let's switch those legs out. So extending the opposite leg, extending your arms out to the side. You can roll over onto your right hip this time as the left leg crosses over your body. If it feels good, to apply that little extra pressure on the outside of your left knee. One more stretch a little further through the glutes. Relax that upper body on the floor as much as you can. And on your next exhale, take your time. Roll over onto your back. Extend your legs out as far as feels right for you today as we come into our final Savasana, if you can believe it or not. If you're feeling any pressure in that lower back, remember you can always bend your knees, find a tenting of those knees together so your lower back can be as firmly planted as feels right for you. Just find a position that you can hang out in, and together we'll spend the next 3 minutes in stillness, in silence, and breath. Bring the same focus to your Savasana, the same stillness in your meditation as while we were moving. Stay present. You're welcome to stay here in this final Savasana for as long as continues to feel right for your body today. If you'd like to close out practice together, take a little wiggle of your fingers and your toes, and then take your time as you make your way up to a seated position. When you get there, go ahead, bring your hands, palms up to the center of your chest. Tuck your chin, take a moment and truly honor yourself. Thank yourself for making this time and space in your day for your mental and physical practice. If you have any questions or concerns about anything I said and we did, I hope that you will reach out. I hope this video is going okay because I see Facebook keeps putting up some messages, but it still shows me that we're recording live. So thank you all for your patience, however things went. Till you see me again, I hope that you will think good thoughts, speak good words, eat good foods, do good deeds, and all of the things that it takes to nourish ourselves from the inside out. Bring your thumb up to your third eye, your drishti, if that feels right for you. Lift your beautiful face, your elbows up towards the sky, and know that the light within me honors and sees the light within you. Thank you so much for coming today. Namaste. Opening up that heart center gets me so emotional at the end. Thanks, everybody.